starting right now. Hey, yo, what's up, my peeps? How y'all feeling? It's your boy, GM Ashley from the Fort Lauderdale in Florida. Sunny, warm, toasty. Sorry if y'all are up north cold, but I am having some fun down here. This is how we do. Winterizing. Woo-hoo. Woo. It's feeling good. I'm feeling good. How are you guys feeling tonight? It's a good night for sure. Esipenko, yeah, he's sending a message, but I don't like messages. Messages are okay. Magnus could lose to anybody. I've seen Magnus. Let me retract that. Magnus has lost to players lower down on the totem pole. Go look at Magnus's losses. You see that he has lost to lower rated players, and they haven't gone anywhere. So let's not make it sound like the kid beat Magnus. I mean, he spanked Magnus. Don't get me wrong. He did him good. TY. I appreciate the cheer. I mean, Hikaru did win Tata, and Hikaru was a monster. He broke 2,800. So we're talking about serious gangsters win Tata Steel. No question about it. Let's keep it real. These young players are showing us some stuff at this tournament. Nevertheless, it is 7 rounds down. There's still 6 to go. There's a long way to go yet. It's easy to win and then lose. It happens all the time. Let's just take a good look. Let's wait and see. But until then, until the future is the future, let's look at the present. And I definitely want to go over the spank. I mean, it's not every day that the world chess champion loses the way he lost. I mean, this game was nasty. How many of you guys actually have already seen this game? What he did to Magnus was dirty, like dirty. This is the kind of stuff you say this is what Magnus should be white and Esipenko black. This is what he should do to an 18-year-old. That's how it should go. But let's take a quick look, because I know most of you probably have seen the game. I want to go to a gangster moment. I'm going to point out to you what I think the gangster moment in the game was. I don't know what you think it was, but I have this one moment in this game that was true gangster. See if you can figure it out, all right? Figure out this one. I'm getting to it. I'm going to get to it. So let's just flow into the game. Magnus played a MVL type opening, A6, the Najdorf. The Najdorf has been getting hunted in this event. I'm going to tell you, boy. MVL is taking it on the chin in the Najdorf. I mean, this serious. This Najdorf, I don't know. You play it sharp, you don't know what might happen. And so the youngster played bishop e2. Now, e5 is the most solid way to play against the Najdorf, keeping the variations not as rich. When you play e6, you want to keep it busy, and you're daring white to get sharp. You're just daring white. And black says, I'm playing like this, and I want to see you get busy in this opening. So the kid, after the game, he said, he was interviewed, and he said, listen, he didn't say the word listen. Well, he said, Magnus played like he was trying to beat me. I mean, he knew e6 was an aggressive posture, right? And he said, I played principled chess. G4, gangster 4 is the most aggressive way to play. It's an aggressive setup. He didn't say, I kind of just wanted to play solid and, maybe castle king side, maybe play queen d2, play solid. No, he said, I played principled chess, G4, all right? The most principled, aggressive move. And now we are talking more as Gregor is saying, transposing into a Scheveningen type setup. And that is correct, because with this e6 move and g4, the old school carries attack, Paul Carries from Estonia used to drop wood on people with this early g4 thrust. The reason is you wanted to get this knight off of the f6 square so you can control even more of the center and get your attack flowing. Well, b5 was played, and now g5 chasing the knight. The knight draws back, and the next move, I'm impressed. Moves like this speak to real bravado. a3, not letting b4 happen, no counterplay for you, and hanging the g pawn, which Magnus promptly took. You know what gangsters think about? Do you take in the gangster pawn? Nothing at all, because in a couple of moves, queen d2, bishop takes and queen takes, Magnus now has to deal with a potential rook g1 and down the gangster file to the g7 square. This is just a pawn that white says, you can have it. You can take it. Take it. You can have it. I don't care. I got compensation, and now you need to play hyper accurately for all the attacking ideas I have on you. I mean, pure and simple. Pure and simple. This is what he's after. I'm just going to attack you. I'm down a pawn, but I don't care. I'm down a pawn and I don't care. What's a pawn? You're down in development. I got 4 pieces out and ready, and I got the G line. I'm going to castle queenside and bum rush you. It was a bad sign for Magnus. A bad sign. What's up, y'all, coming in right now? Bad sign for Magnus that he stopped and thought about this position and played the move queen to h4. You see a move like queen to h4, it potentially slows down h4 itself. An f4 may not be possible at the moment, but it ain't going to do much work for long, y'all. The kid said rook g1. Now, castles was definitely a good move, pure and simple, but rook g1 is good too. Challenging. Eyeballing this pawn. Now, Magnus played a move that he's going to regret, that he lived to regret. The move g6. But what else? Your pawn's hanging. The kid's coming after you. What are you supposed to do here? And he played castles. Look at white's development. It's scary. It's already scary, everybody. It's like, what are these? Every single white piece has moved. Every one of them, including the king. Every single white piece, not counting the pawns, of course, the pieces have moved. Meantime, black has a queen on h4. We're not sure what it's doing. We might hit it any second. It's not taking pawns. I can tell you right now. It's not this h pawn. It's not interested. Why is it there? Because you'll just open up another file to your king if you take that. Meantime, only the knight is in the game and everybody else is asleep. You can't play chess like this and hope to survive. You're in big trouble. And Magnus, realizing it, dropped his queen back to e7. Seriously? You just put your queen on h4, and now you swung your queen back to the e7 square. That is not going to work. That's a red flag in front of a bull. Like, that's just not going to work. That's not getting it done. You can't waste time in the Sicilian, in the opening itself, much less a knight off. Jay Wolf said, I play like Magnus. Yo, I mean, this is not Magnus Carlsen. You just saw 2-3 moves and you say, this is not Magnus Carlsen. No way in the world is this the world's best player playing moves like this. And it's only going to get worse. F4, bishop to b7, king b1, just securing the king, making sure there's no funny business checks. And now for a blunder from, the mind of someone who is not in form. There's no way Magnus Carlsen plays the next move. Knight c5 is another move to play. He's behind in development. It's problematic, but he wanted to catch up. It's understandable in development. He plays the move knight to c6. Now, remember, he's already wasted 2 tempi, or at least 1, playing queen h4 and queen back. That's a loss of a move. Somewhere he could have castled. That would have been a tempo he could have gained instead of wasting time going back and forth. Knight c6, however, establishes how he's going to get punished. And he got hit right now with this killer sacrifice. Turn down your volume, y'all, because it's going to get loud. And boom, a hit on b5. What a capture. Magnus, you saw the film of it. Magnus saw the move. And when he was writing his move down, it was like, what's happening now? What's going on? Thank you, Pagi Boy Mimosa, for your prime. I mean, that's a hit that must have sounded all the way to Norway. Let me tell you right now, that hurt big time, folks. I mean, unbelievable. And now Magnus had to capture back. Threats are abounding everywhere. And then knight c6, bishop c6, and the point of the sacrifice is revealed by queen c3, hitting the bishop. And oh, thank you very much for playing g6 and wasting time. So now I can hit your rook as well. Pure tempi loss with queen h4, queen e7, and now blundering a pawn back. This Magnus, just absolutely not Magnus-like at all. I mean, just not at all. This is just not how Magnus plays chess. You just know something's up. Something's up, especially the string of tournaments he's had recently. Now, I don't like to be biased towards recent events. I'm not that kind of analyst. But from a personality, from hearing Magnus, I know he's joking on Twitter and saying some things funny about how he's doing, but you could tell he's hurting right now because he's not playing like himself. You know, world champions, they're the standard bearers for history. They're not playing just for themselves. They're always being measured against world champions from the past. That's just the facts. You got your Anands, your Kramniks, you got your Garry Kasparovs, your Topalovs. I'm glossing over a couple world champions there. You got your Kazimjanovs. Well, you know, they were never number one in the world. But you're talking about the number ones in the world. You got your Karpovs, your Fishers, your Spasskys. We're going back. We can go all the way back. When you're the number one, you're the standard bearer of your sport. You're not supposed to drop pawns to 3-move tactics. Not like this. Like, what are you doing? That's, you know, the best. You got Alekine and Botvinnik and them somewhere, someplace going, wait a minute, this guy's the world number one. What is going on? You're the best in the world. I don't even know what Gary's thinking right now. Kasparov has got to be like, come on, B. Like, what are you doing? You're just dropping like basic tactics. I mean, you don't drop pawns like that, okay? Not like this. This is not Magnus the Magnificent. Let's be clear. This guy is pure D gangster, but playing like this, walking into an opening that's like not really his specialty, but nevertheless, blundering like this is not like him. It's not like him at all. Well, queen takes on c6, and now he's dropping another pawn, either the D pawn or the B pawn. The B pawn is isolated, so hey, the D pawn is the first one you want to grab. And so Magnus, shell-shocked, said, let me just try to change the game a little bit. Let's make it wild. And I haven't shown you guys the gangster move yet, what I think of as the gangster move. I haven't shown it to you yet. If you've guessed the move that has happened already, you didn't get it yet, all right? Because after rook fc8, it's not d6, which is a great move, by the way. Now you don't want to take the queen because pawn takes. This pawn is touching down really fast. This knight is hanging, and there's a bishop f3 sighting in the position. That is impossible for black to play. Instead, he played queen back to d8. Now he's on his back. All his pieces on the second or first rank. This knight can't even be considered a piece that's going to leave anytime soon. This pawn is just ready to race up the board, and problems for Magnus. And he's down a pawn, by the way. This big old fat pawn right here. Now we're going to get to the move I was talking about. This is it. You ready? This is it. Okay. Am I selling this hat? Look out. Double A, double C, double E, double G, double I. Let me tell you, you will be seeing some merch coming soon. Don't worry yourself. Listen, this is the move that impresses me. Okay, he's played some great opening prep. He sacked a piece and won a pawn back. Now he's up a pawn, all right? His queen was hanging on the last move. You know, we all could do that. This is the moment that I am most impressed by the young man right here. Because when this position came, the question is, what do you play? Now, the engines scream, bring the queen back somewhere. Just get it out of there. Just get it out. You're up a pawn, rewind, reset, and you're winning. This is so much better. It's winning. This is technique time. But here, right now, this moment in time, the kid said, I'm not scared. And I will tell you, I was watching the broadcast with Peter Leko and Tanya Sachdev. What a great job they've done. And they were like, yeah, you know, you could take on b5, but that's going to give counterplay and potential shots maybe, and this a pawn might hang. And, you know, if you do that, you're going to potentially lose the game, give Magnus some chances. And then the kid said, give me the damn pawn. Just, I want it. Go ahead and do your counterplay, do your worst. I know you're Magnus Carlsen. I know my king is sitting here right on the file. I know you're going to take over the file, which is what happened with rook c to b8. He stared down this position that he did not have to do. He did not have to play like this. giving open files straight at his king. Only young G gangsters do this. Come on. This is a sign of a bold, confident player, y'all. Thank you, Kibbles, for the donation. This is the sign of a bold, confident player. You're sitting across from the world champion who's willingly sacrificing, saying, please, go ahead, give me a chance. I just want to punch at you. Give me some pot shots. And not only that, he didn't even win the pawn. This is the best part. He didn't win the pawn because he played queen c4 and gave back the pawn immediately. The pawn he just took, rook a3. How many of you would have done this? Let me ask you. How many of you would have done this? Because I'm going to tell you, I'll be like, that pawn's going to be counterplay. There's no need. I'm winning elsewhere. But this is, in fact, the best, as far as I'm concerned, the best way to play. You're going to put the pressure on this guy so much because guess what? He's got 3 connected pass pawns, 3 of them. And he knows this is going to be work. Now, a couple of streams ago, we were talking about pawns. Was it a couple of streams ago? It feels like years ago now, the last stream. We've been talking about connected passers. And we're going to continue that theme today. We're going to definitely get into connected passers again. It's one of my favorite topics because the positions are so dynamic and crazy. But here, White says, I took the B pawn. I'm the one with the pass pawns now. You got no pass pawns. Don't even talk about it. These pawns are stuck. If I shut your attack down, I'm going to have monsters for you to deal with, including or leading with this D pawn. Period. That's it. Let's be real. All right? Yeah, I hear you guys are saying, sure, I would have taken the B pawn. Yeah, sure you would have. Sure you would have. You would have been like, let me run. Okay, let's just be honest. That B pawn is dangerous. Now the attack looks like it's coming, but quickly shut him down. Don't let the queen get into the game. Shut it down. Now we want to trade queens. A trade of queens, it's over. The game is over. These pass pawns will run ragged all over you. Forget about it. So Magnus played queen to e8, and now another gangster move, rook to g5. He wants to put a bishop on b5, y'all, and his rook just dominating along the fifth rank. That is great move. And now you've got to find some way to save yourself here because bishop b5 is coming. He played the move rook to a4. Now, tricky dicky, looking for ideas. The point being that this move can be met by captures and queen to a8 with tricks. Tricks are for kids. All of a sudden, white is suffering in this position. Incredible. The world champion setting tricks and traps for the youngster. It's a little tricky. Go ahead, play the move. Let's see what happens. No can do. No can do, sir. No can do. We're going to change this right now. We're going to exchange off a couple of pieces because let's get rid of your rooks. This is what we're talking about. Did you just notice this rook was on g1, is now on a5? I mean, come on, y'all. What a swing. Gave his opponent the open lines to say, I'm taking over one of them. You're not getting the A file. Let's be real. We're trading pieces down. Trade them down, all right? Let's make it clear. Thank you, Mishikov, for the gift. Now, rook a5. Great move. Shut it down. Denied. That's right. You die. Absolutely. And Mishikov, you always show love on this channel. Don't know, I do appreciate it for sure. Rook a to b4, not trying to trade off, trying to keep the pieces on. You're down a pawn and position. b3, this attack is dead. Don't even think about it. What you're going to do now, dropping back, retreat. Remember, we talked about retreat on a recent stream. He retreated his queen. He put it in. He retreated it again. Watch how this is going to go. Queen to d8, trying to bring the queen back over. Move that rook. Oh, wait, your rook is back on b4? Well, I guess my queen is back on c7. I mean, this is just some sweet maneuvers, y'all. This is absolutely incredible the way he is playing this position right now. His bishop is headed to the c6 square. He doesn't even care about losing this pawn. Like, you can have it because bishop c6, material is even, but these pawns are not, and this queen and this bishop, and I mean, this is getting painful. This rook is about to land on a7. Wasn't this rook on g1? Whoop, whoop, whoop. What? Whoop. I mean, check out the geometrics, y'all. I mean, this is a rook. That is a rook on skates. Extraordinary. Just incredible, this game right now. Queen to c7. Magnus tried to keep queens on the board. And now rook a8, forcing the trade of one of the rooks. You got to love this rook as has been maneuvering. Takes and takes. And now it's just pure desperation. The knight is hanging. Magnus played the move. Queen to f5. Another tricky dicky threat. He's trying to trick him. He's trying to trick him. You take the knight. Whoop, whoop. Wait a minute. What'd you do? What'd you do? King c1. Whoop. Hello. What happened? I thought I was winning. I was winning. Rook to a3. We got threats here. We got threats back here. All kinds of stuff is happening now. Black has great counterplay. I forgot to mention this threat, which is the real threat because you're going to backdoor him. Another trick the world champion throws at the youngster. No. None of that. Let's get out the way. Boom. Hit. Get out the way. King b2 now. Don't think you're going to check. There's all kinds of coverage. That's fine. Rook to b5. Pure desperation. Give me the knight. Just give me the knight. He took the knight. That's it. Rook c5. A last gasp. Down a piece. Rook c1. Queen takes on f4. Check. Move the king. Just push him, baby. The d pawn passed. Running up the board. That's it. That's all she wrote. You could try a desperation check. That's not going to help. c3 will happen. Then rook c2 if your queen tries to come down. And that's it. That is it. Game over. What a kill by the youngster. I mean, this is how Magnus beats people. Now he just got beat like this himself. An extraordinary game. One that will make Esipenko's best games collection years into the future. Years into the future, he's going to say, you know what? One of my best games I ever played. Let me show it to you right now. And everybody's going to be sitting down. He's 18, 40 years from now, when he's retired as a chess player, and they go, you used to play chess? He's going to be like, look at this. Look at this. And the kids there are going to be like, the kids in 2061, they're going to be like this. Wow. You beat the world champion, the then world champion like that. It's like, that's right. That's how we did it. This is absolutely a star game. Now, admittedly, Magnus did blunder. Don't get it wrong. Magnus did blunder and allowed this knight takes b5. We can't put too fine a point on that because that's exactly what happened. But then again, I'm going back to this very important moment, in my opinion, when queen to d8 happened, right here. He could have backed out, but the heart of a champion, and for us, the heart of a gangster, when he played queen takes b5 and said, I'm going for it. Let's go. This is a brawl now. I'm giving you counterplay so that I can finish you off easier. I'm going to have my trumps too. You know who used to play like that? You ready? Garry Kasparov. Gary was that kind of person. He'd give you your punches. He was like Mike Tyson. You want to brawl in the middle of the ring? Let's do that. I'll give you your punches because I'm going to punch harder than you. That's how Gary used to play. A guy like Karpov, as great a player as Karpov is, looking at this position, Karpov, you say Karpov move, you say he's going to draw back. He's going to just chill. He's not giving you any counterplay. You're not going to breathe. He's going to squeeze. He's going to show that Karpovian technique and finish you off. But Gary was the exact opposite. Gary would be like, I don't believe anything you're saying. Give me that. That's how the rough and tumble guys play. And for him to take on b5, to me, that's a sign of something special. And he's about to be 2,700. He's stronger than that already. Come on, let's be real. He's at 2696 right now. He's headed there. He's going to be one of the top players. I'm not sure if he's going to be top 10, everybody, but moves like queen b5 are very suggestive of strength.